Kia ora, and thank you for joining us on this Zui. E nā mana e nā reo, rauranga tēnā mā, tēnā koutou katoa. Hei karakia, hei tīmatanga te tātou. Whakataka te hau ki te uru, whakataka te hau ki te taonga, kia mākina kina, kia uta, kia mātaratara ki tai, e hi, aki ana, tia tākura, he tio, he huka, he hauhonga, tūtaru whakamaua kia tīna.
Tīna.
Haumi e, hui e, tai.
Tākia.
Tēnā koutou, kia ora, and welcome to this Zui. I'm just making sure, I press record, that's good. Just welcome to all of you who haven't joined us before. This is part of the Ngā Poutama Matawhenua series. And this has been going for a couple of years now, just sharing knowledge, helping raise awareness, build capability within communities, working within Māori trusts, conservation groups, and associated collectives. So, ko Dwayne Tokunga, I'll be facilitating and presenting today, and I'm joined by my colleague Tania Jehira from Stats New Zealand. And so I'll be taking you through some links. I've put in the chat already our kite. So if you have a look on the chat, you can click on that and it'll bring up a document. And I'll just share my screen and we'll just rip into it. If you have any pātai, feel free to put them in the chat. And just a query, if you can keep your microphone muted, there'll be hopefully time for us to have a bit of a kōrero at the end, and we won't record that part as well. And all of these sessions are available on YouTube, and so I'm just going to, does that look about right? Cool. So just on the chat, you'll find this link. And if you go into your web browser and you type in haere/kite, it'll bring you to this page. If you go to Pātaka, haere/Poutama, it'll take you to a Google Drive where you can access all kinds of files, previous recordings as well. And also I'm going to show you how to find all of these recordings on the Lynn's Totu Te Whenua YouTube channel as well. So if we go to YouTube, and we just type in Ngā Poutama, and you'll see there's a few mentions of it here, but the one that we're after is Ngā Poutama Matawhenua. And in here you can access all of the previous video recordings, and there's all kinds of treasures in there to have a look through. So just coming back to our resource kite, what we're going to be looking at today is finding information for your blocks, for your whenua, the moana, the roto, awa, and your marae, and understanding Māori demographics and ethnicity statistics, and Tania is going to be taking us through some applications there. We'll have a look at how to find information about localised climate change impacts, and then all going well, we'll have a look at how to create a simple 3D fly-through going from place to place to place. And in this scenario, we'll use my pepeha. And today we're going to use Google Earth for the web, but there are many other tools that you can access and use for this purpose. We've usually focused on no or very low cost. And there's an example down here, a story map. If I click on this one, it might not work today. This will take you through an example of kind of the far end of where you could get to if you really get stuck into some geo with using a free account. And this is another example of a place-to-place type of story map. And that link is just in here. So let's have a look at how do we find information about your blocks, whenua, moana, roto, awa, marae. There are quite a few different sites that you can go to, but what I wanted to do today is just share with you a few that I think are useful. There is Walking Access Mission have got a tangata whenua map, which pulls in some data sets. But what I wanted to do is just go through some more, what I think are an additional useful sites as well. So let's start with having a very quick look at Māori maps. And I should mention that all of these sites are primarily free, open access, and there's no particular skills or software that you need to do any of the things that you'll see today. So let's have a look for a marae. Would someone like to suggest a marae on the chat, and we can use that as an example? But what I might do to start with is Hiruharama. Harama, if I type properly, Hiruharama marae. And it's come up with two examples here, one in Ruatoria and one in Whanganui, and a third one here in Northland. So if we come over to this example, many of you might have seen this site already, but you can come down here and have a look and view details. This one, got the right one. Oops, I pressed the wrong one. View details. This is the one I'm after. So starts with giving you the location and also marae nearby, and gives you some photos for each marae, mostly of the wharanui, wharekai, depending on what work has occurred there. And this is all open access. So if you've got friends and whānau in Australia, this is a really neat place to share images if they're looking for information, for example. And there's all kinds of useful, interesting information that goes with each marae. Another place is to have a look on TPK and or Te Puni Kōkiri. And we're going to go there next, just in terms of land blocks, whenua. So there's Māori Land Court, there's TPK, there's a couple of other places, Toitu Te Whenua Lins, which gives you information on all the land blocks. But what we're going to have a look here for now is, let me come down here, I'm just going to scroll down. Where did I put it? I just put it here somewhere. Here we go. Māori Land Court. We'll start with this one. There's a new site that they've set up, Pātaka Whenua. And with that link, it's going to take me straight to the block map. So I can come in here and I can have a look at any block and get some information about that block, just without login, just straight away. Click on this one here. Let's have a look for, now if someone wants to put a block in there, aroha mai, I forgot to come back to those marae, but see how we go. If anyone has a block you'd like me to use as an example, just put it in the chat and we can use that to have a look. You can view all of the information that is available here from the Māori Land Court. And then if you have if you set up a login, you can go into more details than what's here on the screen. But you can see here there are some pretty useful information here. Documents, land admin, ownership. There's some really useful info there. There's quite a few owners on this one. Let's have a look. We've got another one. What are blocks? Good question, Angela. So blocks are, so where to begin? Treaty was signed. Part of that arrangement was to sell land, willing sellers. So to do that, they surveyed what they called initial blocks. And initial blocks, or the first block, most of them are very large. Then from those initial blocks, often you'd have the native land court, and this is where the alienation, the nasty stuff really starts kicking in. But that would then be divided up. So you might have, let's say, which one did we have just over here? Kia ora Tina, let's have a look for your one. Where is the search? Go search for block. So block is typically in this case is a Māori Land Court oops, not that bit. That's the Māori land block that is still in ownership. But there are many different types of blocks and things. Oh, I can't get that working. Tuarua C. So here we can find Heroes block C. When we click on that and we go search, we can see here this block ID, and it gives us a map of its location as well. Just there. And if I put that in the chat, I don't think it'll take you to that particular block. Oh, it might do. But here it's giving us the hectares, allocated owners. Come down here, we get some more information as well. Title orders, all kinds of historical information that help you figure out
recording in progress.
The process through. Whoops, what have we got there? So that's one place to go and find information about Māori land blocks, still in Māori ownership. Another one that I really like is tupu.nz, and this is from TPK. And there was someone else that put a block there. Iwaro Painoa. Let's try that one. So TPK take the data from the Māori Land Court and they add additional attributes to it. So things like weather information, soil information. And this gives you a really comprehensive report for each land block. So find your whenua, come down here and I'll go search. Oh, that's still not working. So if we go in here, Painoa Te Ako. So we can see here, we've got a few options. Painoa Te Ako. We got A, B, A1, and A2. So just coming back to where is the A1 and A2 come from? When there were the initial blocks allocated through the Native Land Court and then Māori Land Court process, quite often for the purpose of the survey, there might be fees associated with it. And this is where the whole alienation thing comes into it. So you'd have part A and part B, and one of those parts might be sold for paying the surveyor or other willing sellers, or it could be to fund some other thing. Then you have A and B, then you'll have A1, A2, A3, A4, A5. And so sometimes you can get several A1, part A, part B, A1, part C, A1, part D, and these, and so on and so on. So it can get quite lengthy and quite small. If we have a look at one of these blocks, this will give us a map of its location and more details. If we click on this, this will tell us some similar information to what you saw on Māori Land Court, but with additional information in terms of, let's come back, not just in here, Aroha. In terms of access, so if it's landlocked, information about climate, about water, land cover, you see the map changing there, different land cover, land use. So land cover is what's the vegetation and the soil types. Land use is typically through land use assessment, but it's not necessarily up to date or maintained. So if there are sheep or cattle or cow, dairy, it's not going to necessarily tell you what's currently on there. Slope, soil, and a heap of other details. So if we go download PDF report, what it's going to do is compile in real time all of that information and put it together into one PDF for you that you can then have separate and use offline. So there's Māori Land Court and TPK. I'm just going to add that in there. tupu.nz is the name of that site. Now, last time we had a look at some imagery. So aroha mai, that video is not up yet, but there are some links here to some historical imagery just on the first page here, retro lens, black and white aerials, as well as recent satellite imagery, Google Earth time lapse. And then also there's a lens data service. If we have a look on here, this is where you can find information on all property, not just Māori land, for example. So if I have a look here, I am just up the road here. This is property titles, including owners. So there is a link in our document of where to find this information. And if we have a look on here, this place here we have Dwayne and Megan Wilkins. So we can find out the information that LINZ has on property ownership or based on title for any block throughout Aotearoa. So if you have a land block and you wanted to know what is the name of the company or the corporate or who owns the place next door, this is one place you can use. There is a license for it. It's free, but you just have to agree that you don't republish that information or make it available to others that haven't gone through that process. So here is that PDF report that we requested just earlier for Whenua. And you can see it's compiled all of this information about access, climate, weather, rainfall, water, groundwater, irrigation, land cover. It's all there in one PDF that you can then use and share for different purposes. Okay, I'm going pretty quick here, but it's recorded so you can come back and have a look after. So we've had a quick look at Māori maps. If you want to find information about marae. What else are we going to have a look at? Come back up here. Roto and awa. So there's a really good site that will tell you some current state environmental data called LAWA through scientific data. So if we go for a search here, if we go for Whenua, like Whenua is just here. So we can explore data about this roto. If there are recent recordings available, like E. coli and other samples that have been taken, this will appear in here. Can I swim here? We have swum there, but I'm not sure that I'd want to anymore. Just pop somebody on mute there. So if I just go back to the LAWA main page, and if I go explore topics, for example, there is all kinds of information here I can find about awa quality, water quality around beaches, more land cover, estuary health on that moana, and lakes as well. If we have a look in here, and if we zoom in, sometimes some extra data comes on. Here we go. Who wants to pick a spot? What area should we have a look through? Let's see. Let's have a look here in the Waikato. Up here a bit. So if we click on Waikari, we can see here area, catchment size, maximum depth, which is funny because this one is slightly deeper. They're both lakes that have been formed by cutting off from the awa. Water quality, yep, pretty poor in that area too. And here's a photo of that site. No upcoming events there. The sites, so I think that said it was a sample site or representative site. Doesn't necessarily mean where they go and take the samples. Where else should we have a look? Have a look at another place. One up in Northland. On my pere, is this one of the sites? Maybe it doesn't have some samples there. Give it a moment, see if something comes in. I haven't got any. Oh, we've probably got to click one of these. Here we go. So now we can come down here and this has got catchments. Click on this one, see what we got. No historical data for this site, but if anybody's got awa they'd like us to have a look at, we can have a look there. Let's see what's in here. Number of taxa, so this is kind of biodiversity. And many of them probably have changed over time as well. Let's have a look up here on the East Coast. What have we got up here? Look for some lake quality. Oh, I'm still stuck in Waikato. Let's have a look up here. What have we got? River quality. So we can come in here and have a look at Waiapu. This site, for example, there's lots of sites here throughout that catchment. And if we pick this one, oh, right up the top there. They haven't done any monitoring here just yet, but there will be some monitoring. It's just a matter of having a look through. Let's go on here. This one, come on. Yeah, now we got this site. So this gives us some information on sediment, turbidity, the level of clarity, nitrogen levels, phosphorus as well, and a photo there as well of that site. So some really useful data here. You can also see if there are some sensors connected up on the current flow. Now there's another site really similar to this one that I put under the Google link. Where did I put that one? Here it is. I'll just put this one on the chat because this one is, I found this one useful just in terms of real time. Lower is real time, councils have got real time, but they can be a little bit difficult to find unless you know what you're looking for. But in this case, we know that today there is, red is typically represents something that's not good. And come down here and have a look at the flooding here. So we can see this is real time over the past 23 hours, it'll be about here, but at the moment, it's telling us that the sensor coming through is at a dangerous level. Same as down here on the coast as well. Oops, just mute that one. So that link is on the chat as well, and you can find information for any of these sites, and they also come from councils as well. Here's one. Not much happening in Hastings, Napier today. Pretty flat. So there's a couple of sites to have a look at for some information about Whenua. Not so much on moana today, whoopsie, roto, awa, and marae. So what I'm going to do is we'll take a break from listening to me, and I'm going to hand over to Tania, who's going to tell us where and how to find a little bit on Māori demographics, data, and ethnicity statistics. And and maybe even I saw somewhere that some census data is coming out in a couple of months. So if you've got any info on that, Tania, I'll stop sharing and hand over to you, Ehua.
Kia ora Dwayne. Kia ora koutou. So I'll just quickly share my screen. So I will start with some of our stats NZ tātou ranga Aotearoa kind of GIS data sources, and then I'll show you all a couple of other really interesting ones. So start here. Hopefully everyone can see this. This is coming through okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Cool. So this is, I guess, a little bit of a landing page for where you can find some of the tools. And I do apologize. This is going to repeat a tiny bit from last month, but hopefully I can show you a little bit more stuff. So three main ones where you can find our boundaries and also some of their ethnicity data. Got our geographic data service and stat list, and we've also got one called the geographic boundary viewer, but that's just like looking at the geographies and doesn't really have any data attached to it, but it does provide a link to the geographic data service. So I'll start from here. So our geographic data service, it is where we've got like all the geospatial files and data where you can download it. It's quite similar to the Lynn's one that Dwayne just showed. And we've also got our census data up here. So if you need any of that kind of raw data format, and I guess the raw data geospatial files, this is where you can go. So if I'm interested in, I'm going to look for the 2018 ethnicity data. So search for that there. And the one I generally use, so we do go down to SA1 as well. So we'll have a look at the statistical area 2 estimated resident population. So if I add that, click map, add that to my map on the right, and you can have a look at the data itself as well while it's in this view. So if I click on here and see interested in Hokianga South, it's near my marae, I want to see what's happening there. So it's got the previous census data, but it's also got some of our ethnicity data in there as well. So that kind of just provides a little bit of a snapshot as well as the percentage change. And for those people who are really into the data, there's also lookup tables that sit here, which allow you to kind of connect these files with the full field names. So, okay, this is the data set I want, and I'm interested in this area. So if I go to export, and it just turns up with this default crop, so you can remove it like that. But I'm like, nope, I just want to get this part here. This is my area of interest. This is the only stats I want. You can do that. And then you'll see on the left, it's got the coordinate system, and it also gives you an option for what vector or like data or file types that you want to download it in. So say if you're using something like map info, you have those options there. Or if you're in like ArcPro, you can download it as a geodatabase. But this time I've decided not want a shapefile. I might be working in QGIS or something like that. So just leave it like that. And then you hit create export. And then it will ask you to log in with your coordinates ID. So because that's built on top of the coordinates platform, you just need to use your coordinates ID if you have one to access that data and log into it. So yep, sorry, that's just a very quick run through of Stats NZ Data Finder. And next one, and I can actually quickly chuck this in the chat at the end.
Oh, I put that one in. Oh, I can do that for you.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Dwayne.
I'll put the other one in.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. So
But this one I don't have.
Awesome. Thanks. No, I'll chuck you the other ones too. So the next one we've got is stat lists. And so this is just where a lot of our Stats NZ web maps and applications are, that we just kind of put them up here. And I'll quickly show you estimated resident population map. And I'll quickly show you the story map after this as well. You can see here it's estimated resident population for 2018, and this side we've got our national estimated resident population, and we've also got these different maps here. So go back to my SA1, no, sorry, SA2, statistical area 2. Because I want to look at that specific area that I'm interested in. I'll go back to Hokianga, and hopefully this loads. Yes, it does. So you can click on this map and it will give you a breakdown of what's happening in that SA2. And it also has that ethnicity as well as the population by age group. So yeah, that can be really helpful if you need that breakdown. And another thing this map does is that it's got a link to Data Finder, but it also has a link to the like the census web page that talks more about this information. So it has a bit more about the publication itself, and also a bit more about the Māori ethnic group population estimates and Māori descent population estimates. So yeah, so there's that one. There's also this. Okay, so I'll quickly show you this section here. This is where the 2018 census web maps are, as well as some of the census data sets. When it comes to the release of data for the some of the data for the upcoming census releases, I can't provide too much detail because I think it's timetable, but watch this space. This should change the stuff as released.
29 sorry, the 29th of May is on the website for the new census, but of course it'll take some time to get the maps done and the data set up. That'll flow after.
What I think the first, like that first publication is for is it for interim coverage?
I'm not sure. I've just put the link on the chat as well. Includes Māori descent, but yeah, it'll be just through the tables. I don't know that whether they'll provide internally for creating those maps and things beforehand, but it takes some time, doesn't it, to get everything ready?
Yeah. But it should, definitely pop up here once we've gone and made all those ones.
I'm sure once we've got our hands into the data, we can probably probably more likely June, we'll have a session just on that data once we've got access to it.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be able to kind of show more of the recent stuff that's come out. So yeah, this is stateless. Then sorry, I don't want to take up too much time because Wayne's got something really cool next to show. So this is roto tangata. So tangata is a data platform tailored for iwi by iwi, and it's got quite a bit of data on here, and it's quite cool because it does provide brief snapshots of data as well as more detailed charts, data, and tables. And I'll just quickly show the All Māori section of the website. So I've got this real cool dashboard that looks at lots of different variables: population, highest qualification, age distribution, marae attendance. And if you click on one of these boxes, you can get a further breakdown of the population. And they've got this really cool map, and it will show you the exact percentage of the affiliated population living within a region. And you can also get chart information from here. And you can also compare these stats with all of New Zealand. So we've got all Māori and then all New Zealand, 3.8%. So yeah, so this is a pretty cool site. So definitely recommend checking it out for that kind of more specific kind of age breakdown and distribution, and population numbers for Māori. And then the last one I will quickly show everyone is Living Atlas. So they've got Stats NZ census data on here as well. If this doesn't work, I might have to hand it back to you, Dwayne.
All good.
Sorry about this. So I guess the key data sets here that would be of interest probably are, so we've got New Zealand Census 2018 by Territorial Authority, as well as SA2, but there is also the Census 2018 and Deprivation Index as well. So hopefully this opens, but again, this is another interactive map where you can go in and have a look at your area of interest, and it provides all those that info from the 2018 census, as well as ethnicity, and I should have age group in here as well. And that is that's all I've got to share. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Tania. Kia ora whānau. So Sophie had a question on the chat about mining resources. So I'm not aware of any maps that will provide you with current kōrero that you see and hear about in the media, but those maps are official government record, and they will provide you with the areas for things like offshore, west coast, mining permits, all kinds of things that are areas that are open for exploration and other things. Lots to it, but it's that link, that is the official source of all of that data. So anything that you see maps following from it, they will have started with the data that comes from that site. It's pretty up to date. I think it updates each night, but it doesn't change much. Reina, the one just above there, it says at Sophie. Some maps might be more generic. Sorry, I'm looking at it over there. I should share it for you. Here we go. Just a little ad hoc. Share my screen. Screen one. Just bring that off there. Bring you guys over here. Hopefully this is coming up. Is that showing yet, Tanya? Share.
No, not. Oh, yes.
This one now?
Yes, it is now.
So petroleum minerals. I think I put the link here. I'd start here and just take your time going through, seeing what's available. There's a heap of data, and this site the data store is massive. There's huge data sets because, when they go through and they do their surveys of the end of ships, all of those images are stored and made available through here. So it takes a bit of time to sort of understand what's here, but that's the authoritative site for everything mining. Now, did I put a couple of links on the chat that I was going to share about some? Here we go. I'll just press send. So just on the chat are a couple of sites that I'd like to show you. Very similar and very related in terms of climate change. So the first one is from Niwa, and these two sites that I put on there from Sea Rise and from Nima, they work very closely together. But so click OK and accept. So the reason I'm showing you this site is because this has a really neat visualization of, for example, my whare is just here, and I'm just sitting here today. Sea level rise currently. Then if I press this button here, play, you can see, depending on the level of sea level rise over the coming 100 years or so, what the impact of that might be. And here's my whare down here. And at about 80 or 90 centimeters sea level rise, we're going to have to put the pontoons out and get the outboard strapped to the back doorstep and drive it further a bit up the valley. But if you were looking at, if I just go pause there, if we have a look at some of the other key areas, larger areas, so you can see here at 160 centimeters, which is quite high, but in terms of Māori interest, it's not short term, it's long term. If we have a look, data for Bad Plenty still coming. If we have a look, where should we have a look? Over here, Blenheim. So the data is national, and where there is data available, you'll see it coming in a very fine. So this for me is very fine high resolution data. So you can see there, if we pause it at 1 meter, because it's feasible within our lifetimes, you can see there is in yellow, the areas that will be affected by 1 meter's worth of sea level rise. Something to be aware of, because Aotearoa is very geologically dynamic, sea level rises are occurring, but also the whenua, some areas is going up as well, some areas is going down. So 30 centimeters sea level rise with 30 centimeters a vertical change can mean that the impact of that sea level rise is much, much worse. So this site is taking that into account. And that link's in the chat there for you, and also in the kite as well. And just a pātai there from Reina, all the maps and everything. There is all kinds of maps for all kinds of purposes. Unfortunately, there is one site to rule them all, and that one is data.govt, and we may come back to this one, but I'll just put that on the chat so you can have a tutu and see what's there. And if you go on here on data sets, and if we go, say, mining, if that was your interest, just for now, then you can see there's all kinds of data on here. Not necessarily all of it is geographic or easy to access and find, but at least it's on there. The other site that I wanted to just really quickly show you in relation to the Niwa data is the Tuarua website, Searise. This one gives you a different kind of visualization. So we can see here vertical land movement, as well as when we come in here. So we can see from those blue dots here, this whenua is coming down. And if we come up to Tauranga, you can see this whenua is coming up. So 1 meter's sea level rise in those areas will have a different effect. If we come in and we zoom in here and we click on one, and there are lots of different scenarios, but this will give you, without going into the science too much, you can kind of see the range. These are different scenarios based on carbon dioxide and global warming impact. So vertical land movement here represented, if I turn that on and off, you can see what that relates to. So from 2000 to 2100, we can see there at about 45 centimeters with medium confidence. This gives you a range because nothing's absolute. If we turn those ones off and we turn this one on, so if we did nothing as a globe, as a world about carbon dioxide and methane, then these are the types of scenarios we'd be looking at for that location. If, and by the rare chance that we actually did do some things, then even though the graph has changed, the scale is different as well. So we can see here by 2100, we're looking at maybe 30 centimeters sea level rise in that area. So it takes a bit of getting used to, but there is good information about this site that you can have a look at. But it's for the whole of Aotearoa, and of course sea level rise doesn't necessarily affect internally here, but you can see here for all areas of the coast, about every 2 kilometers, there is a dot that you can zoom in and get an interpolation for that area. So last thing I wanted to show you today was just how to do a place-to-place fly-through. So in my case, I'm going to use just a simple 2 or 3 pepeha, 2 or 3 spot pepeha. So using Google Earth, there are lots of different tools you can use. QGIS, if you're a bit more geeky, like Holden, who's our who's QGIS expert, as far as I'm concerned. He won't agree, but yes. You can use ArcGIS online. You can use it in story maps, like you've seen earlier today. And that link is in the kite as well. And then a really nice, easy way to start into GIS is using Google Earth. And many of us have used Google Earth almost every day on some occasions. So let's have a look at this simple project I can create using Google Earth. I can have I can share my pepeha called Taupiri Te Maunga. So when I click on this one and I go fly to, it will do that nice smooth 3D fly through. And if I click on this one, fly to, this is each of these are bookmarks. And if I go somewhere in here, if I go, where is it? Present, start slideshow. So if I was presenting this to an audience and I had a kōrero that went with it, and I wanted to go place to place to place to place, then I could just go through, click through here. If I had more, it would go through. If I wanted to go back one or forwards one. So I've only got 2 on there at the moment. And you can see for Whenua te roto, I've also got view information on lower. So I can click there and it'll bring it up here on lower. So let's have a look at how do we add another feature to this. So if I come back here, you sign in with a Google account. And what I want to do is add a pin. So in this case, I might want to go Waikato Te Awa. And I can change the icon. So I want an extra large. I want just a plain pin, but I want to change the color. And I want to copy that view. And if I go fly to, oh, we're already there. If I go slideshow, now you can see I've got 3 in my table of contents. So I can go Whenua te roto, Waikato te Awa, and if I go back to the first one, it'll go Taupiri te Maunga. If I wanted to reorganize them, and I just come back out here, back to editing, and I can just drag and drop them above. Like this. Then I can also click on here and I can go edit. And then on description, this is my power. So you could do this for any type of story that you're wanting to share. And at the moment, this one is private to me, unless I've shared it already with others. But I can share, so it's private to me currently. If I wanted to, I see I've got it restricted. If I want to share this with you, I could just go change that from restricted to anyone with the link. So there's a difference there. It doesn't make it public, doesn't make it open to everyone. But if you have the link, which you now will have on the chat, when I just go and put it on there, when you click that, you'll now be able to see it in a similar way to what I'll show you here. If I go a logged out window. So if you wanted to share that story with friends, whānau, if you were using it as a presentation as part of a trust or to a board, then they will see it exactly as you see it here currently. And I can still go, you can invite them to go slideshow. And in fact, if I give you this link, it'll probably go straight into slideshow view, that one there. And then you can have table of contents, you could have information for each, and you see it pops up. This is my awa here. Whenua te roto. And you can see I've customized that pop up too. And so you can change that and then save it. And anytime anyone has a look at it, it will have that most up-to-date info. Have a quick look at that, because what I'll do is I'll show you how to unshare it. So I'm not logged in here, but I am logged in here. So if I change this from anyone with the link to restricted again, and then I just add Tanya, kia ora e hoa, please check these sites for our hikoi on Sunday, for example, and I go send. Now only me and Tanya can access it. So yeah, I thought that would be just a nice, easy start. You just go to Google, earth.google.com and you use your Google account. if you're wanting to get more into GIS, then you can create a free account with Esri, ArcGIS. And if I go back to Haere/Kite, you've seen what that Google story looks like, which is kind of limited in that you can only go place to place to place. And then in our videos, we have got 3 or 4 different story map tutorials. And one of them goes through how to create, or how we created this story map, which is completely made up and based in South America, just because I didn't want to go on anyone in Aotearoa's whenua. But it gives you an example of how you can have pictures, animation, story map. There's even a video in there somewhere. And this is just going through here, adding a video. There's 5 ducks fly across the moon. There we go. That was just out the back of my house. There's a video here. Oops, that one's not working. And you can have other maps, images tied in at the same time. This one takes quite a lot of effort too. So to make this one, I think if I went from start to finish with everything, taking my time, maybe 4 or 5 hours at least. But with a Google map, with a Google Earth one, I could probably do it in, or similar to it, probably in a couple of hours. So it's just an alternative to, and it's also free, and it's reasonably secure as well. But of course, it is still based in the cloud, and all that goes with that in terms of data sovereignty. It's the same as anything that is based on a cloud platform. But I think for certain things, it has its use. Yeah. The question.